She was the last pharaoh of Egypt, radiant in power and intellect. He was Julius Caesar, the general who redefined Rome. Their destinies collided in 48 BC, when political intrigue and passion walked hand in hand. Caesar entered her palace expecting an alliance, but what he found was a force of nature in human form. Cleopatra, ever strategic, had herself smuggled into Caesar's quarters wrapped in a carpet. It was a gesture of daring and seduction. She captivated him from the very first moment, not just with beauty, but with her voice, her mind, her presence. To Caesar, Cleopatra embodied the mystique of the East, exotic, powerful, and uncontrollable. To Cleopatra, Caesar was a ladder to security, to survival, and perhaps to love, though she never said so plainly. Their union sent tremors through the ancient world, two sovereign powers merging in desire and design. Cleopatra bore him a son, Caesarion, a living symbol of their bond, and perhaps a future heir to two empires. The streets of Rome whispered in scandal, and Alexandria watched with breathless pride. Against tradition and with enormous risk, Caesar brought Cleopatra and Caesarion to Rome as his guests. The Roman elite were stunned. Some admired her intellect and charm. Many feared her influence and presence. To them, she was a foreign queen sitting in Roman gardens, an affront to the Republic's purity. Then came the Ides of March. 15 senators and 15 daggers. The Republic struck back. Julius Caesar was assassinated. His blood pooled on the Senate floor, and so did the dreams they shared. Fearing for her life and her son, Cleopatra fled Rome under the cloak of night. He returned to Egypt in mourning, not just for Caesar, but for the future that died with him. She believed the West had stolen her peace, her protector, and the father of her child. The alliance they built turned to legend, and then to ash. To honor what was, she built temples and statues, carving memory into stone where words had failed. She ruled Egypt alone, her face serene, though her nights were long with grief. Time passed, but the memories stayed vivid. His voice in the hallway, his touch by the Nile. Suitors came, but she sent them away. She would not marry again, not truly, not in her heart. Rome crowned new emperors. They forgot her, but she remembered everything. They say she spoke to Caesar's spirit in dreams, in gardens at dusk, and in temples alone. But peace never truly returned to her heart, not since that March evening in Rome. War came once more, this time in the form of Mark Antony, another Roman, another chance. She opened her heart again, but this love, though fierce, was never the same. Her connection to Caesar ran deeper. It was political, romantic, mythological. Even in Antony's embrace, it was Caesar she remembered in moments of stillness. At the end, faced with defeat and humiliation, she chose her own death, silent, royal, controlled. She held a serpent to her skin and faded from the world as if returning to myth. A queen undone not just by ambition, but by the weight of two impossible loves. Caesar's legacy continued in Rome, in marble, in conquest, in law. But Cleopatra's legacy lived in whispers, in wonder, in the margins of history where passion is too wild to footnote. They were lovers, rulers, symbols, and perhaps more real in legend than they ever were in life. A love etched not in poetry, but in the sands of two empires destined to fall. This is the story of Cleopatra and Caesar, and it refuses to be forgotten.